They thought the Alliance of the Sahel States was just a headline, a temporary temper tantrum by 3 rebellious nations. The AES has just delivered a shockwave that is currently rattling the teeth of every neo-colonial puppet across West Africa. A few months ago, I told you about the birth of the 5,000-man task force. We celebrated it. We called it a start. But while the world was busy talking, the Sahel was busy working. While the experts were analyzing, the lions were training. On the low, beneath the radar of Western intelligence, they weren't just maintaining, they were multiplying. And right now, as you watch this, the AES has just unleashed a 15,000-man joint task force that is fully 100% operational. Did you hear me? 15,000 soldiers standing shoulder to shoulder with one mission and one mandate: to turn the Sahel into a burial ground for anyone foolish enough to threaten our peace. Welcome back to Power and Pulse. Today we are tearing up the script of dependency. We are talking about the force that doesn't ask for permission, the money that doesn't come from foreign banks, and the shameful silence of the organizations that claim to lead Africa. Now, let's look at the math. We went from a 5,000-man contingent to 15,000 in the blink of an eye. How did they do it? They did it with native command. This isn't a peacekeeping force. This isn't a group of men waiting for a UN resolution to decide if they can fire back. This is a strike force. Their mandate is clear. They are not negotiating with terror groups. They are not sitting around with sponsors of chaos. They have made a vow to make the confederational space of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso a graveyard for any diabolical force that refuses to surrender. If you don't run for your life or give up your weapons and stop the slaughter of the innocent, the AES task force has a one-way ticket waiting for you. This is supremacy in action. No more wait and see. No more consulting with partners. If you bleed the land, you will bleed on the land. Period. Now, here is the part that is making the Western banks absolutely lose their minds. We know how it usually works in Africa, right? ECOWAS wants to move money. They wait for the EU to send the check. The African Union wants a mission. They wait for the UN to approve the budget. SEDIC, CEMAC, the EAC, they all have these task forces that exist mostly on paper, funded by the very people who benefit from our instability. But the AES, this 15,000-man army, does not depend on a single dime from any Western organization. Not a cent from the World Bank, not a penny from the IMF, not a dollar from individual foreign donors. This has been put in place 100% by the AES leaders and their joint government. They dug into their own pockets, they used their own resources, and they relied on the sweat of their own people. This is self-governing prowess at its peak. It's wonderful, isn't it? It's amazing because it proves the ultimate lie. The lie that we are too poor to be safe. We were never too poor. We were just too busy letting other people hold our wallets. The AES just took the wallet back. Let's talk about the big brothers for a second. The African Union, ECOWAS, CEMAC, they all have these standby forces. They all have these impressive sounding titles. But what is the actual use of their task force? Look at what the people of Somalia have been going through for decades. Do we see an African task force rushing to save them with African money? No. Look at what is happening across the continent right now. The suffering, the hunger, the insecurity. But wait, the moment there is a coup d'etat, the moment a corrupt Western-loving leader is toppled by military officers who are actually loyal to the people, suddenly the sirens go off. ECOWAS and the AU discover they have thousands of men standing by. Suddenly, they start brandishing brimstone and fire. You won't know they have a task force when children are being kidnapped. You won't see them when villages are being burned. You will only see them when the master's interests are threatened. They protect the throne, not the people. What a colossal shame to the name of Africa. Let's look at the giant next door, Nigeria. Right now, as we speak, parts of northern Nigeria has been completely captured by terror groups. Innocent civilians are being unalived on a daily basis. The people are screaming for help. And where is the ECOWAS force? They claim to have 2,000 men standing by. What are they standing by for? They aren't going to save the mothers in the north. They aren't going to secure the borders. But they are waiting for the next time a patriot decides to clean up a corrupt government. That's their only trigger. They are a regime protection agency, not a security force. The AES has looked at this model and said, keep your hypocrisy. We will build our own shield. While ECOWAS sleeps in the bed of the colonial masters, the AES is standing guard. This is the difference between national self-determination and puppet show politics. Now, how do you maintain 15,000 men without foreign aid? You do it through strategic mastery. By pooling the resources of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, they have created an economy of scale. They are sharing intelligence. They are sharing equipment. They are sharing the burden. They've realized that security experts from the West are never there to solve the problem. They were there to manage it. They were there to make sure the war never ended, so the contracts never stopped. Now, the AES task force is the end of that industry. When you own the army, you own the outcome. When you fund the soldier, you dictate the victory. This is 15,000 man force is the largest purely African funded military operation in modern history. I love the language they are using. They aren't calling for a de-escalation. No, they aren't calling for a ceasefire. With people who cut throats, they have made it a mandate to make the confederational space a burial ground for the enemies of the people. This is the language of a man who has finally stood up in his own house. If you are a terrorist, your options in the AES space are now very, very limited. Surrender. Give up the diabolical acts. Run. Get out of the Sahel and don't look back. Become part of the soil. This is the unfettered rule of a people who have decided that mercy for the predators is cruelty to the lamb. The AES task force is the shepherd that finally brought a wolfhound to the fight. The AES is doing more than just fighting a war. They are shining a light. They are showing the rest of Africa, the youth in Kenya, the youth in Nigeria, the youth in South Africa, that it can be done. You can break the colonial chains. You can build your own institutions. You can protect your own mothers without asking for a loan from the very people who enslaved your grandfathers. The success of this 15,000 man force is the ultimate threat to the old guard. If it works in the Sahel, the people will ask, why isn't it working here? Why are we still waiting for the EU to fund our security? The light from the Sahel is blinding the puppets. It is exposing the task force of the AU and ECOWAS for what they truly are. Expensive ornaments that only move when the master pulls the string. This is a victory for native control. 15,000 men are now standing on the line. They aren't there for a paycheck from Brussels. They are there because they love the land. They are there because they know that if they don't stand now, there will be nothing left for their children. The AES leaders, Traoré, Goïta and Tiani, have done the impossible. They have built a wall of steel around the heart of the continent, and they did it while the rest of the world was laughing at them. Who's laughing now? I bet it isn't the Sahel. So the 15,000 are ready. The funding is local. The mandate is absolute. The AES will continue to shine the light until the entire continent is set free from these colonial chains. We are watching history unfold. We are watching the moment Africa stopped asking for a seat at the table and started building its own fortress. The era of standby puppet is over. The era of shield of the Sahel has begun. The light is shining. The chains are breaking. And the pulse of Africa has never been louder. This has been Power and Pulse. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.